Check. Welcome back, guys. Another episode. Muhammad Tantawi after a long 7 months. Now, I want to explain to you where I've been 7 months. I want to give you my feedback, hopefully some inspiration, and an overall, what are you getting into when you join the Army? Now, I'm a Army National Guard Reserve person, weekend warrior, part-time soldier, whatever the hell you want to call it. So I remember when I was in the barracks. This is AIT, and I had about 8 guys with me, and we were asking each other, like, how much have we changed through this whole experience? Like, what did we gain? And if we were to enter the real world, how would our lives be different? I'd love to tell you that there were answers of phenomenal change, a complete turnaround, 360. But really, the consensus among all of us, and I mean all of us, was that we seriously didn't feel like we changed that much. That if we went back into the real world, because that was the question, if you were to go back into the real world, what would be different? How much of your life would be different? And we didn't really see a lot of change among us. Like, we couldn't really make out anything that we would do different. And I found that kind of interesting. So I want to start off this video saying that if you want to join the military to change your life, I don't think that's going to do it for you. Maybe if you were to go active, and I can't speak to that because I plan on probably never going active, that maybe your life would be different, that you would have more time to develop. But as far as just going through basic and then going through AIT, you'll just adapt to whatever rules and hit times and uniform they tell you to do. The yelling, the screaming, for me, that's never changed me. Yelling and screaming does not really hit me hard in a deep way. Maybe it would hit someone else. So I want to take you through step by step how it was. January 2nd, I board a plane in Memphis, Tennessee, and I end up in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Before that, we did a little powwow at the USO inside the airport, got some pizza, did some roll call, just preliminary paperwork, stuff like that. When you get there, the drill sergeant will come on the bus, and this is your first awakening. Like, yeah, I'm in the military. Fuck. It was just like, all right, no more sir and ma'am, it's drill sergeant. Drill sergeant. Can I go to the bathroom? Drill sergeant. It's just every sentence you say, I hope you include drill sergeant, and I hope you're standing at parade rest. You start off a little rusty, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I wasn't hitting parade rest in the first 2 days. Like, I would forget. You're just not used to that kind of behavior. But you're basically put into a bay, and this is called reception. So for a week, you're not really at your basic training site. You're just at reception, doing your medical, getting your hair cut, taking ear pro classes to make sure that you know that your hearing could be ruined if you don't use the proper earwear, and things like that. You're just doing preliminary dental and stuff like that. Oh, also the butt shot. The butt shot sucked. Because, okay, what I did with the butt shot, personal story. I got the butt shot the day before I shipped off to my actual basic training. So I was so sore, and I felt like it got me sick. I'm not going to lie, I feel like it got me sick. So for the first 4 days, those were super hard for me, because you got to remember, this is January, Oklahoma. It's cold as shit, and you're standing there outside. You're sore, you're tired. It does not feel good. It feels like crap. And remembering the experience, that is when I wanted to quit. The cold got to me more than anything else. The weather for me was the hardest part. I still have pain in my neck because when you stand at attention and if you raise your shoulders like this, you really can hurt yourself if you hold that for too long. So you arrive to your basic training site. They're going to hit you with a bunch of yelling and stuff like that. You're just getting accustomed to it. You make your phone call. I did see people cry. So, I mean, it is a significant hard moment in your life. And so after that, you start doing more paperwork. You get to know each other. You do like an all-around bay, talk about yourself type thing. Where are you from? Why are you here? Blah, 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 blah. And you get to know the people around you. You start to notice that like everyone is from different places. Some people grew up on the base in which you're doing your basic training at. Like there are a lot of military families. So the first week is kind of, it goes by like a blur. You just wait for Sunday because that's when you're supposed to get your phone. So you get your phone on Sunday, you make your calls. Mom, I miss you. Dad, I miss you. I'm doing okay. But you got to remember, at this point in basic training, you've been gone 2 weeks. So when you make your calls, I don't know how sentimental your family is, but I know for me, I'm just like, I just saw y'all 14 days ago. I mean, this isn't very hard. But you'll start to see people are getting letters, people are getting packages now, like people are giving out the address. So now like people want things shipped in. I do want to warn you, be careful what you got shipping in, because if you do send something that is like candy or something you're not supposed to have, you will get the whole battery fucked up. Battery or company, depending on if you're artillery unit. So I I didn't have anything shipped in. I had nothing. I didn't even give the address to people because I felt like in 10 weeks I don't need anything. They had baby wipes at the commissary, so I was good. Not the commissary, what's it called? The PX. You'll do your every 3 weeks weekly visit to the PX. It's not bad. I do want to say, when they offer you that black bag full of all the quote-unquote essential items that you'll need for $220, don't buy it. Do not buy it. You'll be fine. They warn you that you might not be back to the PX real soon and you might need some. Nah, you be good. You need some toothpaste? Ask somebody. You need some shampoo? Ask somebody. Worst comes to worst, someone will help you. I promise you. Like, we're all in this together, even if we argue a lot. So, the first part of basic training is called Red Phase. Red Phase is going to encompass a lot of yelling, some tower that you're going to have to climb up and climb down. It's pretty cool. The tower was fun. You're going to do the gas chamber. That shit sucked. I don't care what anyone says. It's just not enjoyable. I don't care if you found it easy or hard. It's just not an enjoyable experience, and it sucked for me. I was hurting. And then you're going to do this ruck. It's a 5-mile ruck. It's called the Hammer. But before you do that ruck, you're going to spend a day in the field, and you're going to do a lot of like low crawling, high crawling, running in the grass. And this sucked. It's ass, especially if it's cold, and when you try to go to sleep, you're shivering. And worst comes to worst, you just gotta toughen it up. Like, I didn't sleep that night. It felt like I just closed my eyes for 4 hours. But they will wake you up in the middle of the night, so be prepared for that. That's just kind of a common practice through all the little events that you do in basic training. So, white phase. White phase is the second phase. You'll do a whole ceremony at the end of the ruck, the 5-miler, and you'll be congratulated. You've made it, to the second half or to the 2/3 of basic training. You're all right now. Like, now, all you got to worry about is qualifying, and that's probably the hardest part. Qualifying with your weapon. You got to shoot a 23 out of 40. I did not shoot a 23 out of 40 until the 4th day or 3rd day. It felt like forever. I took too many tries. I mean, I knew people who went up there the first time, and I swear it's like they've been shooting their whole life. So, you just got to be patient with yourself and really do listen to the stuff they tell you. Work on your trigger release, calm your breathing, stabilize your feet. Don't change your sight picture. They're going to fill you in with a lot of tips on how to be a proper shot. So I eventually passed that. But that's basically all white phase is until the very end. The very end, you're going to do something called the Anvil. The Anvil is a 7.5-mile ruck encompassed with some warrior task and battle drills. You're going to learn some infantry stuff. And you do land nav, so you got to find your place in the woods. That's pretty fun because you actually get some freedom now. Because when you're in the woods, you can just talk, you can chill, do your job with the compass. Everyone has their role of what to do. And, it's just fun. It wasn't the most unenjoyable thing I've done in basic training. All right, so you get back. Another ceremony hits you. You're at blue phase now. This is it. You're at the last 100. Don't screw it up. Don't do anything stupid. And when I say that, by this time, people start getting comfortable. The UCMJs, the Article 15s, this is when they start popping in. Don't be the UCMJ guy. I met people who have been there 2 years. Just chilling in the bay, living like they were in basic training, but they have already graduated. It is, to me, probably the worst reality I could imagine. I mean, you're actually just trapped. But you're getting paid, so shout out to my tax dollars for filling your pockets. So, blue phase, you'll end it with you'll throw some grenades, which is kind of cool, but, don't look. I remember I was a looker, so they slammed my head to the ground. Don't do that. I mean, to be honest, I really, really wanted to see the grenade. Like, I wanted to see how far I threw it. Didn't throw it that far. And I wanted to see how, it would just look. I never threw a grenade before. It's just, like, I was willing to risk it. I had a helmet on, so if you threw my head against the ground, which I didn't think they'd actually do. I didn't think they'd for real slam you as hard as they could. But they did. And it hurt. At least it hurt my pride. So you're going to throw the grenade, and the last thing, you're going to do your forge. The forge is a 10-mile ruck. You're going to do more warrior task and battle drills. You're going to do your wrestling, bugles. You're going to do your impressions of the drill sergeants, which is really, really fun to do because some of them are goofy. And it's all around, you've made it. At this point, if you don't do nothing stupid, you're good. You come back, you do your ceremony, you drink the magic juice if you want to. I wasn't drinking that juice. That juice was so disgusting. I mean, I smelled it, and the stuff they were putting in there, like I was watching, it was like salt and just gummy worms and soda, and it was just the weirdest combination of filth I've ever seen in my life. So, I mean, some people did drink it. If you're really hoo-ah, you do it. Some tips for basic. Don't get sharp. Don't do nothing sexual. Try your best to keep the jokes at a minimum. Keep it to people you trust. Don't start saying "huh." Don't do that. AIT you'll do that more, but I've heard in the real force they don't really do that unless a command sergeant major is talking to them. So after that, you go to AIT. AIT is made to be like you'll have more freedom. I'm here to tell you it will feel just like prison. I think my common quote was, I'm living in a snow globe. So that's what it felt like. It felt like you were living in a snow globe. But I will say you did get more freedom, But when you're trapped, you're still trapped. So you start off with something called black phase, at least for me. And you'll basically be able to go around base. You can't wear your civilians yet. But, at least you can go around base. You can sign out and go chill out. The next phase, gold phase. You can wear your civilians now. Now people are starting to step. The J's are popping out. The swag is flowing. And some people got the drip. Some people should go back in uniform. Terrible. I'm not going to name him here, but, there was one cat. He really made me hate Jordans. Like, he made me, the way he wore them, I thought, I don't want a pair of Jordans ever again in my life. So, that's not that bad. The last phase, and if you want it, I never went up to it because I never wanted to go out, past 150 kilometers away. Green phase. Green phase, basically the same things as gold phase, except you can leave and now go to the neighboring cities and do nothing because you still can't party. No drinking, no tobacco, no nothing. Gold phase, you can use your tobacco, but it has to be non-duty hours. And you basically just got to do it after your duty day. That's the only thing you can do it. You can't do it inside the barracks. You got to go to the designated smoke pit if you want. And, you do your thing. Again, please don't drink. It's really not worth it. Think about it. There were 2 cats that went drinking at Olive Garden. Guess what? Chaptered out. At AIT, you haven't proven yourself at all. So for them to say you don't deserve to be in the Army is it's much easier because you haven't done nothing. You have no credential. You are a wet behind the ears baby. Like you Similac. Like your breath still smells like Similac, to quote Stephen A. Smith. So, just do what you need to do. I went to AIT at Fort Huachuca. It was okay. I did MI. It was very boring. It was long days, but we got through it, and I feel better for it. I learned some cool stuff. Maybe not the most applicable things to the real world because you need experience, but it should help me get a job, and it has benefited me, with interviews I have coming up. So, all around, should you join the Army? I guess is what this video is leading up to. If you want. The thing is, and this is what I told my buddy, you're gonna join whatever the recruiter says. He could promise you rainbows and sunshine. When you walk into the recruiter's office, you basically know that you want to join. No one can convince you left or right. And that's how I think about it. I knew from the first day I walked in, I was going to join something. I had talked to the Air Force, talked to the Army, and I felt like the Army offered more benefits, so I just joined the Army. So really think about like what you're going to utilize the Army for your future. Because if you're just trying to join something because you're bored, I guess that's good. But even then, you're going to start to realize that you can utilize this career to help you leverage other careers and help you get little access points, little entry keys. Because it does help. When you say you're military, you're trustable. They think you're responsible. They think you're a guy that they can count on. And for me, that's helping me out. So what I want to tell you is join if you feel like it's going to benefit you. And don't come seriously out of shape. I mean, I've always been sort of in shape, so the exercises to me were, they're okay. And you're gonna do some push-ups. Let's just call it like that. I remember one time we had to clear the bay, and we were doing the Y squat with our mattresses on top of the head, and that was funny. Like looking back, in the moment it was kind of annoying, but looking back it was kind of funny because not every day you have to hold a mattress on top of your head and try to Y squat. So I hope you took something from this video. The military is a weird place, and if you have a problem with authority, I suggest you get rid of that immediately, because authority is everything. Respect to your, NCOs and your higher ranks, like that is everything. Your officers, treat them with respect. You're going to be expected to uphold the standard of behavior that you may or may not be used to, and just know it's going to force you to adapt your behaviors, because civilian life is nothing like what you're going to experience inside the confines of basic training and AIT. So be wary, do your research, and most of all, have fun, because at the end of the day, if you do join and you regret it, it's not going to ruin your life or anything. Will benefit you most likely. So just, have fun. You only live once. At least that's what they keep saying. I feel like a cat, though, coming back later. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for tuning into this video. I know it's been a long time. I hope this gave you a deep dive into what basic training at AIT is like. If you have any comments, leave them in the questions below. I'll definitely answer them. Until then, you can expect more reaction videos, more videos on politics, more videos on my thoughts about society, and all in between. Until then, have a good one. Muhammad Tantawi, out.